Question to Archangel Metatron. I read that only the first part of the calendar has been discovered. The second is still hidden. Is this a fact? If so, what is there to discover? Archangel Metatron. Great portions of the original Etla calendar, which became known as the Mayan calendar, were lost in written content, not just through the dissolution in time, but also through differing interpretations since it was originally brought into the lands of the Yucatan. The full information was stored in crystals. The full information then is still retained within the 13th paradigm, the crystal skull termed Max. There are halls of records yet to be found that contain prolific stores of vast information, including world histories. Although the renowned and honorable Edgar Powerful spoke of these as being in 3 locales and predicted that they would be potentially revealed prior to the new millennium, they have not been discovered in the context that was assumed or interpreted. The vast records of Atlantis are contained in holographic data recorded within Max. Yet the technology of how to retrieve these data is not yet available to you. Nonetheless, it is available somewhat by mental transferal, depending on the light quotient of the individual receiver. There will be in the future the ability to utilize crystalline receiver apparatuses that are capable of playing back in 3-dimensional holograms the data therein, but this is generations away on your current probable timelines of discovery. Just as you now store information in computer through digital files, and no longer transcribe lengthy text on paper, the Atlantean historians stored such information using crystal technology. That is logical. Max is indeed one of the original crystal paradigms. In your terms, he is of Pleiadian and Arcturian construct and origin. Max is a vast consciousness, akin to a supercomputer, with a considerable library of data contained therein. He is the most powerful, most conscious of all of the remaining ancient crystal skulls of the 13th paradigm. Within Max is the complete records of not only the original Mayan calendar, but the complete history of the Earth and of humanity, and beyond. The original crystal skulls came from another world, and another reality. All realities are created based on the pattern of crystalline sacred geometric consciousness through the golden mean-phi ratio. Humanity and indeed your physical Earths are conceived within these paradigmic matrix formulae, and so were the crystal skulls formulated in kind, yet from a far greater frequency, a frequency of perfection. The skulls are indeed formed as the prototype of the perfect human consciousness, lest it not be forgotten in duality. So within it is contained the perfection of the human being, encompassing within all aspects, the 12 sacred aspects you see, and thus was it formulated and thus was its reason for being brought here. Originally then did those carriers bring the crystalline patterned skulls to the earth from Arcturus and the Pleiades, and it was brought into the land that became Lemuria. But indeed the model was brought before the planet was fully in polarity. It was brought into the planet at the time of the firmament you see, in a zero-point Earth, a non-magnetic plane we will say, in an earthen world that knew perfection, that was inhabited by androgynous manifestation of etheric spirit in full consciousness. Yet at that time it was already known that the firmament would fall, would dissolve, and the plan then was that this model, this extraordinary hologramic record, the original crystal skull, would serve as the prototype of this initial integral aspect, and so it contains within it the model of the 12 strands of DNA, the fully conscious clear mind and beingness of the evolved human. The crystal skulls contain within them that which you were before the human experiment, and what you will be when you complete it, the infinity circle. So the original crystal skulls were manifested into form above and beyond physicality, and have been brought into physicality various times. As such, no true age can be assigned to them, because they have appeared, disappeared and reappeared many times in the millions of years of Earth's habitation by mankind. Max is not of the Earth. His origin is the Pleiades, but his construct was more of the Arcturian crystal masters. Question to Archangel Metatron. Obviously the Mayans, through the study of cycles, certainly did know that their own society would decline and disappear. How did they protect their knowledge, and where did they go when their civilization started to dissolve? Archangel Metatron. As stated, the full records are available in the 13th paradigm, via Max. Max is an extraterrestrial crystal skull, a vast conscious crystal computer, and was, or is, in that context, the living data archive utilized for storage of the complete information of the calendar. There are other such libraries, but Max is the only one on the Earth plane at the present in the physically manifested cranium format, or crystal skull, containing the full information, histories and codes. The crystal skulls contain within them that which you were before the human experiment, and what you will be when you complete it. The infinity circle. The Atlanteans worked with the original crystal skulls, and the most important of these, the 13th, containing the full energy of the 12, was safeguarded by the highest archpriest of the Mayans. We will say that the 13th skull existed within the hyperdimensions which were accessed by the archpriest of the Mayans, and was a great source of information and data relevant to the Mayans, indeed containing the information regarding the complete calendar, the complete map of the cosmos as related to Sirius, Orion, Pleiades, Arcturus and beyond, containing then the laws of physics for each dimension, and the cyclic codes. This conscious recorder, the crystalline cranium, is an inconceivably immense data bank and invaluable tool. Certain of the archpriest of the Mayans, with Syrian assistance, maintain the knowledge of how to read it. It existed for them in a dimension that may be termed semi-physical, and was manifested through theta-level thought. Within this crystalline, conscious computer, Max, are the codes for the reprogramming of the Earth. You see, that is precisely why it is in a manifested form in the present time. So the original crystal skulls were manifested into form above and beyond physicality, and have been brought into physicality various times. As such, no true physical age can be assigned to them, because they have appeared, disappeared and reappeared many times in the millions of years of Earth's habitation by mankind. The crystalline skull was solidified and programmed in a most complex process. It was conceived to contain within it an incredible frequency that in itself attached to the hologram. So the crystalline skull then is an honoring remembrance and imbing transmitter that indelibly prints within the soul that which is the perfect model. It is imbued within the divine aspect of the soul when it enters into the earth pattern from the unified field. In a manner of speaking, it is the pattern recorded into the God Self, the subconscious or super-subconscious of the human mind, you see. The perfected man, not the version of what man would later become in the down spiral of the human experience, but rather as the original print that man aspires and evolves back into through the growth cycle termed reincarnation toward that original and flawless paradigmatic archetype. Now the original skull held within it this perfection, lest it not be lost, and those crystal replicates that even today are crafted in your present time are capable of attracting the energy from the hologram and holding portions of that energy. Some hold more than others. Max is indeed one of the original crystal paradigms. In your terms, he is of Pleiadian and Arcturian construct and origin. Max is a vast consciousness, akin to a supercomputer, with a considerable library of data contained therein. He is the most powerful, most conscious of all of the remaining ancient crystal skulls. He is one of two skulls that are truly extraterrestrial in origin. The other is termed Shah-Na-Ra. Both originate from the moon of an enormous planet, approximately 20 times the size of your largest planet, Jupiter, circulating Arcturus, the orange star of creativity. The 13th crystal skull was produced originally by the process of morphocrystallic manifestation, involving the Arcturian crystal source with imbuement of an alchemical frequency to include the human genetic print from the Masters of Arcturus and the Pleiadian Sirius Alliance. It is the 13 as containing the full codes and data of the 12 formulated into one, forming the 13th as it relates to Earth. Yet within Max are also libraries of the cosmos. So then the knowledge within the original crystal skulls is that of the universal mind. It is enriching and vast. Accessing this information stimulates the awareness of who you are. You see, placing your consciousness inside a crystal skull, and indeed that is the way to work with these, opens portals and doors to a world beyond your grandest expectations. To enter into the skull, however, is not like having a verbal dialogue, but more of a download, you might say, a sudden and comprehensible receival of information that changes your paradigm, expands your awareness. Some receive the information as visual images, others as information packets, downloads, if you will, and at times both. The information is already in the subconscious, a deeper part of the subconscious that you term the super-subconscious. It exists in the realm of light you term ultraviolet. And so the connection, or the reason that interest around the skulls is reaching a mass proportion, is that indeed, with the coming of the ascension, there is movement within mankind to better understand himself. And with these times is the need to reject those patterns that no longer serve humankind, to recalibrate with those attributes and quintessential paragons that do. Mankind is rebooting, as is the earth itself. Indeed, that is tantamount to the ascension. Systems that no longer work in both macro and micro are breaking down, collapsing, and will reform themselves. Indeed, this is happening now in your economic arenas. Now, the knowledge of the universal mind certainly exists above and beyond the crystal skull. Yet the universal mind is encompassed and zipped within it, and so encompassed in a way that benefits mankind. The knowledge within it is formulated and transmuted, translated specifically in a format that offers itself for human access. This then is within a specific pattern that is the prototype of perfection for mankind. As we have stated, I am Metatron and I share with you these truths. You are beloved. And so it is, and it is so.